start recording right now.
Oh, I already started before you got on. I was prepared.
Okay. Oh my God. You look adorable.
Full credit goes to Mom. She bought this for me and surprised me with it the other day.
What an iconic mutt moment.
Yeah, she nailed it. She heard us talking about it on the pod and she's like, I got you. Hot pink construction hat and vest.
You're just right now on one of your breaks having some Folgers and going to do a quick record, and then you got to go do something with beams.
Yeah. Nope. I'm sitting on a beam right now. I've got my metal lunchbox. Just going to do a quick podcast and then, just back with the boys on the scaffold.
Yeah. Your wife packed you your lunch?
That she did. Left me a little note. Got me a little bit in trouble with the guys, but
women.
Okay, I have to at least take the hat off because I can't hold my headphones this whole time.
Yeah, I love it. Just looks like it's floating above your head.
Well, because it's got. Look at these.
Yeah, I
things.
mean it's for protection.
Yeah, it like sits like a full inch off your head.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, if it were just a chunky plastic right on your head, if stuff fell on you, it would kill you.
Oh, that's why I'm not a real constructress. But I am keeping the vest on. So thank you, Mom. Yeah, we commit to the bit here. I would like to point out this is the second time I've shown up in costume. So chop chop, lady.
You're right. Dang it. Okay, I'll work on something. Before we because today's episode, I think it's going to be short and sweet.
Yes.
Topic-wise. But I really would love to know how my brother-in-law broke his back.
Oh, God.
The text, because I was so tired, but I was like, okay, we're going to record. It's fine. And then you were crying, I believe. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I texted you I was having a breakdown, didn't I? I was legitimately crying.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But the text I got that alerted me, I want to mention that David, my brother-in-law, I am 31 and I have known him. He's been in my life since I was 13. And this is the text I got about his injury. 8:30 would be good. David injured himself Friday evening and broke a rib and some bones in his lower back. So time stuff is all on me for the time being. And then when I was like, oh no, what happened? And then I go, let's shoot for 8:30. And then your response is, I'll tell you tonight. It's too annoying to explain through text.
I stand by that. I stand by it.
Yeah, no, we really need to start utilizing voice messages.
Okay. Yes, I've been waiting to tell you. Part of it was because I was just tired. And the other part was I thought we were going to talk sooner. Anyway, so on Friday evening, I was getting the girls ready for bed and he was out front. I had the shades closed and I was dealing with them, so I wasn't really paying attention. But he was loading his motorcycle. We'll get to that in a moment.
Wait, when did that happen? Okay,
so,
sorry.
Like 2 days previous.
Okay.
Anyway, he was loading it into the back of his truck, like on a ramp that he uses to load his four-wheeler. And I heard the motorcycle and then I heard kind of like a bang. But if you've ever heard anybody load anything into the back of a truck on a metal ramp, it's always loud. So
yeah, like when Dad loads the four-wheelers, it's always super loud. It's like bonga bong.
Yeah, so I heard it and I was like, oh, he loaded it. And then I went to grab him because it was his turn to snuggle our youngest for bed. And I peek out there and like I see our neighbor over with him and I was like, oh, that's nice. He must be helping. But then I noticed that my husband is like stumbling around and I'm like, oh, that's not good. And then he's kind of like on his knees. So I go out there. I'm like, what is going on? He was just about to the top of the ramp and it had started to roll back on him, I guess. So he gave it another like vroom, but he vroomed it too hard. This is my words, not his. And it went up and over like in a somersault. So he's not on it. He's next to it, walking it up. And it knocked the ramp out from under him. And he went down, hit the back of his head on the concrete, and I mean, the rest of his body, blacked out for a few seconds. And then was just kind of trying to be like, like get up and like gather himself and clean things up. And the neighbor heard it, came out, and was helping him. So then I have to call our parents and say, I need to take David to the emergency room. I'm an uncomfortable laugher. None of this is funny. I don't find any of this funny.
Oh man, yeah, but no, I'm smiling and I don't know why
We're
because
just, like,
this is very
cheesing.
upsetting.
It was
We're
very
like,
upsetting.
"Tee!" Yeah.
I'm getting the story from the neighbor because he is like, I mean, you can tell his eyes are kind of glazed over. Well, you've recently hit your head,
Yeah. Yep.
So we get him in the house and, our parents come over. I'm staying actually very calm for the girls, but finally my youngest like loses it. She's crying. She's like, "Is dad going to be okay?" I'm like, "Yes, he's going to be fine." I'm like, "You will be fine, damn it." I'm mostly worried about his head, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, get him to the emergency room. They did CT scan, all that. His head, they said, was fine. I mean, air quotes, fine. I think no matter what, you have a concussion, but they didn't
Yeah.
see anything else like concerning. I mean, he blacked out,
Mhm.
like, and he hit his head. But he did break, and I don't know the names of these bones, and I'm not going to look it up. The little spiky things that come off your spinal bones.
Oh dear.
He broke 4 of
Yeah.
those.
Oh.
I just held up 2 fingers. I meant to hold up 4.
That's okay. It's an audio format.
I didn't have to say anything. And a rib.
Oh my god. I'm still okay, so the motorcycle, like, it did a 360 flip?
Yeah, so it goes up like vroom, and then knocks the ramp out from under him somehow, and he goes down. And that's
And
what
then since
happened.
when does David ride motorcycles?
I think this is what we in our 30s call a midlife crisis. He doesn't listen, so I can say this. Maybe not a crisis, but like, yeah, I don't really know. He's kind of mentioned it a couple times before, and I'm like, no. Actually, he started out with like more of like a dirt bike, and I'm like, okay, for some reason that seems safer. I really don't think they're that much safer because you're usually off-roading in those, but whatever.
I think they're lighter though.
Well, and that probably would have been better. And this isn't like a
Mhm.
Harley by any means. I mean, it's still heavy. I don't want to like discount that, but
Yeah.
it's not when I think of a motorcycle, I guess I'm thinking of like a big old like a hog.
Ooh.
It's not
Oh
that.
god.
Like a hog.
What kind is it?
Mm,
Well, what does it say on the side?
motorcycle. I don't know. I'm not
Okay,
even
because
looking
there's
at it.
some
I'm gonna put it's gonna say for sale on the side of it. That's what it's gonna say. It's gonna
Oh
fucking say
god.
for sale.
Oh.
For free. Take it. But yeah, that's how Friday night went. And he can walk around, but as you know, with like ribs and backbones and stuff, it's not like they can cast it.
Yeah,
There's
no,
nothing they
it's a
can do.
terrible place to get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm really curious because there's this I really like Indian motorcycle.
No, you don't.
I want one
Sid.
really bad.
Sid. Mom, are you Sid. No.
Just
Yeah, I love
but,
that
like,
you hear this
look at
story and you're
them.
like, yeah, I really want one.
Well, then he and I could ride them together, and that would be great
Oh,
bonding now that we're Facebook friends
great.
again.
All the way to the emergency room, you can ride them. I tell you what,
Look
if
at but
either of you gets hurt on one of those, I'm not coming to get you. Sorry. No, I'm not doing it. Stop it.
it's starting at just $13,000. Well,
Oh,
$13,499. The Scout Sport, and
no.
it's beautiful.
No, that's insane. We didn't spend
I
that
could sell
much.
my car. I don't need a car.
Yeah, who needs airbags? Sid,
Babies.
don't fucking start with me. Do not start with me.
Ooh, the bronze metallic is
Sid,
nice. I want to get one eventually. I don't know how to ride one, but I figure like
it's
I could figure that
no,
part
it's not
out.
like riding a bike.
I did. One of my friends, Rusty, in high school, like there was like one day he tried to teach me, but it was difficult because he's a like a big guy, and so
Mhm.
motorcycle, and I can't remember if it was the motorcycle or dirt bike, but either way, they were just like really like way too big, and he was not a great teacher. Like he knew how to ride them, but he did not know how to teach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, it did start to fall with me on it, and he did catch it and me. So that was impressive.
That was nice of him. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. We're here. We've become a bi-weekly podcast by accident. Or is it bi-weekly or bi-monthly?
Bi-monthly. Bi-weekly would be twice a week. I think
we are
bi-monthly,
not.
guys, we're bi-monthly for Pride.
Yeah, because
Because you're straight, I'm gay. That makes the podcast bi.
Yeah. We're on theme, guys. We went bi on purpose, not because we can't get our shit together, okay? All right.
It's because we're allies.
Yes. And Sid can say that because she is gay. If I say that, it makes me sound like an asshole. What are we talking about today?
Okay. It's going to be a real brief
Okay,
episode.
Barbara Jean.
On just Barbara Jean. No, we're going to talk about a little chitty chat about Legos.
Love it.
Love it or list it. Do you remember that show?
Oh my gosh. It's still on.
Yeah, it's going strong, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
So I did just a little bit of reading for this. I went to bricknerd.com, Brick Economy. The Brick Nerd article is by Lauren Lovelace. Lovelace is a badass name.
I like that name.
So is Lawless.
Mm-hmm.
The last name Lawless is so cool.
You can kind of put anything in front of less, and it
yeah,
works.
It seems neat. Also, I listened a little bit to the How Things Are Made podcast, but this is not shade. It's just the podcast is not for me because I have ADHD, and they feel real Midwest, like it's very meandery.
Oh, so it just
and
doesn't
I'm just like
hold your attention.
Yeah. So they seem like lovely people, though, and it's a very successful podcast. So it's
good for them
because my brain chemicals don't function normally. So we're going to start with a quiz, and mostly this is going to be a quiz so that I can talk about the little bits of history, because here's the thing, there are so many shows and YouTube videos and full-on podcasts like Wizard and the Bruiser did one on Legos, and like I said, how stuff works, that I'm not going to get into the like here's the history of Lego so much. I'm going to do a little bit of it, but then mostly it's just going to be talking about them. Like I said, this is going to be a short episode. I just really love Legos, so I wanted to talk.
Let's do it.
My first quiz question, Obi-Wan Kenobi, is, do you know what the meaning of the name is?
Lego my building blocks. No, I don't.
Okay, so in literally every single article you will ever read about Legos, it always points out how the Danish words leg and goat mean, or got, I don't know, I'm not Danish, and I'm bad at learning languages. It means play well.
Why is it Danish? Was it started in Macadamia?
Yes, it was started in Macadamia, not...
Sorry, I'm so tired, and I'm especially stupid this week.
I could see that on your face where you started to regret asking.
Oh, no. I don't know where Danish are.
It's a Denmark, or a Danish company. It's based in Denmark. I don't know how to pronounce the belong.
What's the noise you made?
I don't know. I was going to try and pronounce it, then I got self-conscious, so I thought I would just do it weird.
It sounded like you were falling into a hole.
I was, of my own insecurities. I don't know why I decided to make this a question, but I found it really impressive. How long does it take for a Lego to form?
You make it sound like they form naturally.
They're naturally occurring.
Are they plastic?
Yes, they're made out of ABS plastic, so they're non-toxic, which is good because sometimes kids eat things.
Correct. How long does it take for a Lego to form? Like any size? Like regularly sized?
Let's go like I believe it's like a standard size.
Standard. 5 hours.
7 seconds.
Fuck you.
And then they have these molds, and I mean, they have to make a shit ton of Legos. So it's really fast and really precise. And because of that, well, yes or no, do you think old Legos, are they compatible with new ones? Yes or no? Just, Legos have been around since like the 50s.
Okay. I would like to say yes, but then knowing what I know about like corporations and capitalism, I feel like they would have changed it just a little bit so that they're not.
But remember, this is macadamia and like not the US or China.
Okay, that does change it. Okay, I'm going to go yes then.
You are correct. They haven't changed their design since 1958.
Good for
And
them.
they're so insanely precise that a Lego can only be 0.002 millimeters off.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Those Denmarkians are on it.
Those macadamia
Those
nuts.
macadamia nuts are tough to crack. Anyway.
The first IP team up was actually with car manufacturers. But can you guess like what the biggest franchise deal was with? Think like huge
Marvel.
IPs, and that's a really good guess. Technically, actually, it would be not then, but it was Star Wars, and Star Wars is now owned by
Oh,
Marvel.
yeah. Okay.
And then guess the price of the most expensive Lego set you can buy now. Like, this isn't second market. This is like the most expensive Lego site. Like, if you went to their website.
It's probably going to be a lot more than I think it is because I'm not like a Lego gal. $5,000.
Okay, well, that was really high. No, the current most
Shit.
expensive, it's a Millennium Falcon, and you can buy it for $850.
Oh shit, I went way too high.
You went crazy. I will say here, maybe this one, the most valuable Lego or Lego set, secondary market.
$5,000.
This one's insane. So it's a San Diego Comic-Con 2013 Spider-Man minifig. The Comic-Con exclusive Legos, there's very limited. You can only get them there. So this one is valued at, let's see when I did this, in May 16th. It was $16,829.
And it's a minifig. It's not even a regular
It's a
fig.
single, it's a single character here. I'll grab one because I collect them.
Oh. Also, folks, sorry, when I say regularly, it's it's a word one of my kids says instead of regular or used to say. Oh, it's tiny. $16,000 for something that tiny.
Mm-hmm. This is my She-Hulk one, though. Isn't it cute?
Like
She
it's
has,
cute.
yeah. I mean,
But
not 16 grand. And this is just
no.
this is a Spider-Man one. It's just like a real basic Spider-Man one.
Okay. Good for it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
Spider-Man's okay. It's fine.
Well, we can talk about that later because I really love Spider-Man. So that hurts a little bit.
Sorry. I'm not a Spider-Man stan.
Why not?
I'm just like, fine.
Do you just not like superheroes or him in particular?
I mean, I've never really said it out loud, I guess, but I don't know. He's just like not my fave. I'm thinking back to like who was the first Spider-Man
Tobey
dude, the little
Maguire.
guy. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
I do like I can't think of names right now. I do like the newer guy's portrayal better.
Tom
Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you got that. Normally you're like, oh.
Yeah, no, it's weird. I know like the Spider-Men.
Spider-Man.
And like if they've been in like Buffy or Arrested Development,
Okay.
stuff like that, I'll know the names. Otherwise, it's just not happening.
I didn't
And
like
then
the
Andrew
Garfield.
Garfield. Oh, that is a very common position, which is a bummer because I really loved Andrew Garfield. I also thought that him and Emma, are we supposed to call her Emily? I don't know. Emma Stone had the best chemistry.
Oh, okay.
The second film from that period of Spider-Man, it was too much. I wish they would have just focused on like one villain instead of they had like it was like 3 plots that were happening and it was just way too much.
I kind
But
of
I
remember
actually
that.
really liked it. I feel like all 3 of them represent different periods of Spider-Man really well. But that's just my take, and that's from like reading the comics and not.
No, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I hate it. I don't know. See, I like Iron Man, but I love Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man it's funny because like he's somebody that I like. I didn't care for his films, but I really like him as a supporting character in other things. His
Yeah.
standalones, because I don't really care that much about Iron Man and Potts. I forgot her first name,
Pepper.
but Pepper Potts, thank you, played by
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Egg Vag. Yeah, Vag Egg Lady is how I remember her. But like I can't stand her. So I just
Fair.
like I just see her when she's in a role now.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure.
So I didn't care. I know people really like the Iron Man movies, but I just did not enjoy them, though I think he crushes it. Robert Downey Jr. is phenomenal, but the character of Iron Man, I feel like, has very few redeemable qualities, at least to me.
Okay.
That he is best played off of other characters because I feel like you get more depth from him. Like you get a more, you even get more comedy, but you just get a wider range of like emotions and facets of his personality. That's just my personal take.
That makes sense. I did like the relationship between him and Tom Holland's Peter Parker.
Yeah, no, I thought that was phenomenal. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like, he's still really funny. He's still like full of himself, but it just gives his character more depth. So I tend to like him. Like I love him in other things, but I'm not like, woo, I want to go see, like I have never rewatched Iron Man, except I think when like dad one time played it for all of us again or something. Cause mom was like, oh, I haven't seen it.
And then she probably fell asleep halfway through anyway.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Mom, but you do it in every movie.
Even she slept during Lord of the Rings in theaters.
I know, I remember that.
And then the thing that's always the worst is because she slept through it and then like slept through all of them. It's like the third movie and she's like trying to ask us all about the plot points. And it's just like, Mom, this is too much. Just, it doesn't matter. Like, really, it doesn't matter. No. Like, you're never going to finish them because you're just going to keep falling asleep during them. Read the Wikipedia page or something.
Oh my God. Sorry, this is so off topic, and then we can get back to Legos. But I saw something you posted on Instagram recently. It was like an OC clip or something. And one of the girls was like, what did she say? Like, you know that movie with like, all the gay elves or something?
No, she was like, you know that movie? She was like, you know that movie the guys made us watch about the two gay guys going to the mountain? And then it was like that. The other girl's like, Lord of the Rings. And she was like, yeah.
I died.
I laughed so hard. And then here's the thing. Lord of the Rings, I will die on this hill. I think that trilogy, I think those are some of the best films of all time. I think they are phenomenal. And I also think reading it, there is a lot of gay subtext you can pick up watching it. There is even the actors who portrayed Frodo and Sam, we're kind of like, yeah, it feels pretty homosexual, and they're on board. Like they're not like, oh God, in a weird way. They're just like, yeah, and like I think Sam was like, yeah, they should, or the guy who played Sam, who's fantastic, was like, yeah, they should have kissed. But it was so funny because in the comment section, people were getting so pissed and offended.
Of course they were.
And I was just like, guys, this is such a good joke. And everybody already makes fun. Like, it's such a classic joke that it's seen as like such a guys movie, but it is about a bunch of men delivering a ring, like delivering jewelry. That's been a joke for like a couple decades, I think. So
that's good.
Anyways, that
love
thing cracked me up, so I'm glad it made you laugh too.
It made me laugh really hard.
Well, I want to know, because here's what's fun about Lego is that they cover all of the IPs, so I feel like we can safely keep talking about Marvel. I actually have the front broke off of it, but I have Captain Marvel's. Oh, this is hard to show you. I have Captain Marvel's ship, and it comes with such a shitty camera. But it has Goose. It has a little Goose minifig.
Oh, Goose.
Love Goose. And this was one of my little brother. And if people are confused why I'm saying my little brother and not our little brother, is because, God, like 5 years ago now, I signed up to be a big sister for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and my little brother and I are still like incredibly close, and he still calls me like big sis, and it's
That's
really
so
sweet.
sweet.
And that was one of the things he really liked Legos, and that's how I got actually into Legos, is because he really liked them. And the whole thing
Oh.
with Big Brothers Big Sisters is you're just trying to like do something fun with the youth. And so he really wanted us to like build a Lego set together because he was kind of excited. Like he couldn't believe I hadn't. So this one was a little pricey, but I wanted it to be one that was like fun and a little bit more challenging for us because it had a few hundred pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did that. I have pictures of us building it, which
Oh.
are really cute. Yeah, that was like the first big-ish Lego set I built. And that's kind of why for me that like I got into Legos because of that. And then my former coworker Reed at a place that I work. He was talking about minifigures, and we have like I would say like Reed's a good friend of mine, and for his birthday he introduced me to some comic characters I wasn't super familiar with. There's a comic character named Mr. Miracle. His name is Scott Free, and there is a book by who's now one of my favorite comic book writers, Tom King. So Mr. Miracle, here's the premise. Okay. Scott Free is the son of what is essentially pretty much God. And they're like these two worlds. One is very much heaveny, the other is hell. If people are like, that's not correct, I'm trying to explain this to my sister who
I know
knows
nothing.
Spider-Man, Batman, and Iron Man. So like I'm just trying to make this digestible and fast. So they keep warring because, you know, it's very good versus evil. And so they decide that they will exchange sons as
Yeah, that is some real Bible shit. Sorry, continue.
yeah, right. No, it's very biblical. So I can't remember what the other I forgot what the other boy is, but he's raised with like he's raised by the All Father, our God character, and has some issues still, but he's raised in like a really loving environment, while Scott Free is like literally thrown into a pit and just made to suffer as a child. But he keeps, no matter what happens, he keeps getting up and trying to fight and get out of this pit no matter like how bad the abuse is. And he meets, her name is Big Barda. We fucking stan Big Barda.
I mean, I figured
Barda,
by the name alone.
yeah, so she originally was a bad guy there, but then she and Scott escape and fall in love. And this takes place like Scott goes on to become like a magician. And the premise of this book, it's really, really fucking beautiful, actually. The idea is that like Scott as a magician, there was like nothing he couldn't escape. And it kind of plays with this idea of escaping life and death, because when the book starts, it's after he has attempted suicide and his wife has found him. And it's about it also too, I think the writer was going through a really bad time because he writes in it's I think it's the foreword about how he hopes someday his sons can read this and understand sort of like where he was and maybe
Oh.
why he just kind of understand.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really beautiful because the relationship is it's like very loving and very real. And there's this line that like almost makes me cry every time, is when Scott is like super depressed and is kind of like, it doesn't matter, whatever. It doesn't matter if I live or die or whatever. His wife actually, and I'm not condoning any kind of physicality, but in the comic, it's very symbolic. She shoves him down so he falls, and then she just says, "What do we do?" And I think she kind of has to yell at him a couple times, and then he slowly gets up and he's like, "We get back up." So my friend Reed introduced me to that, and as somebody who has dealt personally with like depression and suicidal tendencies and stuff like that, it was just like a really, really beautiful book. And so I got him, there's this adorable little Mr. Miracle minifig.
Oh, okay.
And so I got him, sorry, this is like a very dramatic story, I feel like, for it, but I got him a little minifig like that. And then I kind of got into collecting them myself. And so it kind of ties into like my love for like comic books and being introduced to some characters I could really relate to. And then also just like I love my little brother, and these are really, really good memories that we made together.
Yeah.
That like Legos do hold a very warm spart in my heart.
Barbara Jean's back. We thought we
Barbara
got
Jean.
rid of her.
Can't keep a good Barbara down.
Or a bad one. Oh, God. Oh, no. Do you love that we still, when we choke, we put our arms up in the air? There's no medical basis behind that.
It's just from Grandma screaming like we are going to drown and die if we didn't.
Put your hands up.
I'm like, was that supposed to be, did they get that confused? Was that supposed to be like in water drowning? And it was just like any kind of water related issue now?
Maybe. Yeah, we would always get shouted at. Put your hands up. Like we were freaking under arrest.
Which then makes you panic more and you're like inhaling and yeah. Oh, Grandma.
Oh, no. Okay, so you like the process of putting Legos together. Yeah?
Yes. It's something I can hyper fixate on. The biggest set so far I put together, I got it for myself as a present for being good. Because it's the only way I can motivate myself.
We all need a little treat every now and then.
So it's Ahsoka Tano's T6 Jedi Shuttle, not shovel. I'm a dumb baby biscuit.
Like, that sounds weird.
And it's 599 pieces. And so that's the biggest one I've put together. I think it took me, because I'm not a pro, guys, it took me probably like 5 or 6 hours. I also made the mistake of they come in, the pieces are like grouped together in different packages. And I dumped all the packages out and then went to the instructions and was like, oh shit, I forgot you're not supposed to do that. Because now, instead of just being like, go to this package. Yeah. So that's why it took a while. But no, I find it really soothing and satisfying.
You've gotten some Lego sets for the girls. Mm-hmm. And I've helped my oldest with a few of these sets with more pieces like that have the small pieces. I can't tell you how much I loathe putting them together. Like, I really, really hate it. I'm not like I don't know, it reminds me of like geometry. Like, it's just one of those things that it does not make sense in my brain. Like, I can't look at it. And I mean, I know there are step-by-step instructions because these are like for children, but she would still need a little bit of help because she was a bit, on the younger side. And anytime she would ask me, will you help me put these together? I was just like, okay. What did I do? Sobbing. What did I do to deserve this? And then at the end, I was just like, okay, well, that's done. Now, what do we do with it?
You play with it. So, it's like,
then don't
they're
the
like
pieces
action
come off?
No, I mean, that's okay. So since it's only 0.002 millimeters that they can be off, one of the things about Legos is they stay together really fucking well. And that's part of what has made the company so successful. And they have like patents and everything on it. Legos now, like the idea of them just being for kids, what's kind of cool is they actually have like 17 plus Legos, not like because they're like, this one has titties. This is a ship with titties. But because they're things that aren't going to really interest kids. Like they're like, you can put together this insane plant or like this lovely lodge. I really want, there's a Polaroid camera and there's a typewriter and I really want both of them. They're so cool. So yeah, they're ones that are aimed at adults. But the other ones, like this little ship I have here, I mean, obviously you can just display them, but they are intended to be played with like you would just dolls or action figures. So
I thought they were like display only.
Nope.
I know nothing.
Well, no, that's kind of, it's fun knowing you didn't know that because I'm like, oh, there's so much to talk about with Legos then. I really wish Legos were something that mom and dad had gotten us when we were little. I feel like I missed out, but it's fine. I just have added it to the list of the things they've ruined.
Well, did we not have Legos?
We had Duplo, which is
a dupe.
Which is technically, no, it is technically Lego. Duplos, I've gotten them for your youngest when she was like 3. Right. And they're Legos, but they're much larger pieces. And the kits have like way fewer pieces in them.
So definitely for like young kids. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really remember like playing with Legos, but I wasn't sure if that was because I just wasn't interested or if we didn't have access to them. So who knows? Maybe I'd be a totally different person. Do you remember what we did play with though that we had to like build and we actually loved a lot? Remember those big marble towers?
I was going to say the marble towers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you sent the marble through all the little whatever track I guess you made for it. We played with that a lot.
Yeah, and we would make those. They would be like 4 feet tall because they would be like
and the size of the room.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I have really fond memories of. And I'm also kind of surprised you liked because it does seem like more of a tactile building sort of toy. And that's not.
It surprises me too, looking back, because yeah, it really just is not my thing. Like I can't really build things. Like it's just not in my nature. I'll talk to like my freaking hairstylist will be like, yeah, I just built this like thing for my plants the other day and I built this chair or whatever. And I'm like, but how? Like, how did you just like go, okay, this is the kind of wood I need. Like, this is the amount. And before you say YouTube video, like I could watch a YouTube video on how to do that and it would not make sense.
I think it's for some people. Well, one, I think some of it is practice because I definitely think there are people like you who just got tired of not getting it. And they're like, I'm just going to keep running into this wall until like I break through. But I do think some people just like naturally are a little bit more inclined to it. And like for me, I don't know if you remember, but like I would like to go out with Dad when he was in the shop, which was just the garage at the Z house, and was like working on things. And he'd give me scrap pieces of wood and like a hammer and some nails and let me like build
nail your
really
finger
shitty
into the
stuff.
Wood.
Nice. And then Grandpa and I, if you remember, we built stuff together, and I really loved doing stuff like that. I'm not great at like building furniture or something. That's so much more difficult. But I really do like kind of more STEM-y building sort of things. And like what I would use, so I am so fucking jealous of toys now are less gendered and they're so much cooler. Like even the action figures are a lot cooler. And I constantly see action figures that I'm like, oh my God, as a little kid, I would have wanted those because I would have taken the clothing and the accessory weapons and given them to my Barbies because I played Barbies when I was playing by myself. A lot of times I was playing Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
But it would of course be like they'd be in the Lord of the Rings world, except it'd be like girls.
Right.
And they were like meeting the characters and stuff, but it was like girls. And I remember we would take those little toothpicks that are like swords.
For drinks. Yeah.
Yeah. We would use those and we'd take the umbrellas too. But I would use little swords, but I wanted like more Lord of the Rings looking ones. And this is something I know I put down like quote unquote boy toys when we'd get the catalog. Like you remember we'd get the catalog from Grandma, whatever
I remember
it was.
The catalog days.
I don't know if it was like Sears or JcPenney or whatever. And I would mark a lot of boy toys, but I never got them. And I'm very curious about that. Because I would put down action figures and stuff a lot, but nobody ever bought them for me.
Interesting.
But I would get like the girl toys I asked for, or like some that are a little bit more neutral, like some of the like techie spy things.
Yeah.
But I was always like kind of bummed that I never got any of the action figures because I really wanted to like combine them with Barbies because a lot of the stuff I wanted to play, especially when you were done playing, was more like superheroes or Lord of the Rings or things like that. And I needed action figure accessories for my Barbies.
So the difference between an action figure and a doll, I mean, there really isn't a difference, right? It's just marketing to a certain gender.
Yeah, and I would also say that like,
or at least it used to be.
Yeah, I mean it's still definitely is. They've been trying to, even Lego, because Lego, there are like these articles, one's even titled like Lego's Girl Problem. And it's about like, because toys have been so gendered for so long, and especially building toys have always been very focused on boys.
Right.
Now trying to go back and get girls into these things. Because like, if you think about it, it's sexist, but it's also a really stupid marketing tactic because you're
You're
like,
omitting.
why target only 50% of like child population when you could target all of them and make a ton more money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like Lego's Friends series, which are most of the ones I've gotten the girls, the figures they've made more doll-like because they've done research, and like the mini figures, the traditional Lego ones don't seem to appeal to girls as much, which I'm guessing is social conditioning from us having dolls and Polly Pockets and things like that. It tends to be too, I think action figures are often to scale.
Okay.
And then a lot of times, but not always, I feel like they're more posable, and they
For
seem to
action.
have, yes, and they seem to have, this has changed a bit now where I feel like more of them have cloth outfits and stuff, but I feel like a lot of them too, it is more common for them to just have painted on more static looks to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it makes the playing with them more action based than potentially styling them.
Okay. Thank you for the breakdown.
That's just my perception. I don't know. I'm sure there's like a, not quite like legal, but like almost like a patent definition or something of the difference.
I'll call my lawyer.
Okay, excellent. Now I'm looking it up though. Well, from Sci-Fi Toy Masters, it says traditionally the dolls have groomable hair and changeable clothes, while action figures had a smaller scale and specific features that enhance their play value. But in the modern era, the line between doll and action figure is getting increasingly blurry. So yeah, what I said.
Okay.
I feel so smart. Way to go, me. I mean, I could show you all the Legos I own, but this is an audio format. I will send you pictures for social.
Send me pictures, and then we can display all your lovely Legos, even though they're not only for display, as I now know.
Yes. You asked the girls their thoughts on Legos, right?
Yeah, they had very little thoughts.
What were their little thoughts?
It was basically just like, I was like, hey, do you guys still like Legos or play with Legos? And then we went into the whole, well, why? Why are you asking? I was like, well, because Auntie Sid's asking. Why? Is she getting us something? I was like, no, it's for can you just answer the question? I guess like kind of I do, but like kind of I don't. Why? I'm just like, oh God. Like it can never just be a simple question with them. I get like 20 in return.
My answer may change if I get a Lego toy.
That was basically out of this. It. Like, well, am I getting something? Because otherwise I don't really know why you're asking me.
This totally sounds like your oldest, and I imagine your youngest was there for about 0.2 seconds before like running around and doing something else.
I don't know if she even heard the question, to be honest. She's wild. So that's mostly it. Now that I say that, my oldest for a bit watched some of which Lego movies were they? There were a couple Lego movies that she would watch that were like geared for kids. Are they all geared for kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is just the Lego movie, which is actually a fantastic one.
I actually don't think that's the one she saw. I believe it was. Oh, it was a Jurassic Park one. That's the one that she watched. Fun. Because she's really, not so much lately, but she's very into the Camp Cretaceous Jurassic World series on Netflix.
Oh, I am not familiar with that.
It's an animated series. She loves that show, FYI. So she watched the Lego of that. And then there's like at least one Lego Scooby movie that they watched. But it just wasn't something that really caught on with them.
Yeah, I noticed that because I know she had fun. Like I helped her build a couple of them.
Yeah, and she was good at it. Like she was better than I was at it.
Yeah, we had fun doing those because I had gotten her. I went with the friend sets because I knew she had dolls and Barbies and stuff. So I did think those would be more palatable.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, she could get back into them tomorrow. Like I just never really know with them. They pick things up and then they're over it and then they pick it up again. So who knows? But we have the sets still.
That's good because they're retired.
Oh, we definitely don't have all the pieces. I know that.
One of the things that is wild about Legos is so they like retire sets and sometimes they get like crazy valuable. Like I have it's just like a micro fighter that I bought for $9.99. I don't know if it was around like 2019 or something, but now that it's retired, it's gone up to like $30, I think.
That's cool.
And that's one of the things too. I think that's one of the things is like, I love collecting things.
Yes, I do.
And I also love being like, this will make me a millionaire. Like, I know logically it won't, but it's just fun. I also am like, even if it would make me money, like most of my things that I collect, I'm not going to sell.
Yeah. It's just the idea though. Like if you were really in a pinch.
Yeah. For some reason, it's just, it like puts, I can't even explain it, but it makes the collecting more fun. It's sort of like stock market where like I really love reading and learning about the stock market, and I have like a couple stocks, not enough where like I can really make any money, but it's just fun to be like, ooh, I picked a good one and it's doing well.
Yeah. You're like proud.
That there's there's just something about that that's kind of fun with Legos when you're like, oh, this minifig I have is suddenly worth like 50. Like one of my minifigs, I bought it for $4.99 in a blind box because that's how the minifigs come. It's so you don't know which one you're going to get, so you can get duplicates. And
I
one
don't
of the
like
ones
that.
I have now is like $15.
Yeah, that makes sense with the collecting aspect because you've always been a collector. But I didn't know you were like Wolf of Wall Street over here too.
I like the curls, and I think this is one of the kind of childlike aspects of ADHD is like you go through interests so fast, but you also come back to them. So I have like notebooks filled with like info on stocks I was looking at the time and like research and like plans and whatnot. And I get into that stuff really hardcore for a few months, and then like I'll dip out for quite a while. And it's just, some of my hobbies are more consistent. Like they feel more like even if I'm not really active in it, I'm still like, oh yeah, I like that. And then other ones I like will have no interest in.
Yeah.
And then they'll come back and I'll be super into them again.
No, I get that.
Things go in phases.
Like the moon.
Bye guys. Thanks. Love you.
Love you. Thanks for listening.
Mwah.
You've reached Sid
and Riley.
We can't come to the phone right now,
so leave a message after the beep. Ruining Our Childhood was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Psych. But it is produced by us, Riley and Cassidy.
With music by Joseph Tuna Medish.
You can follow us on Instagram at Ruining Our Childhood Pod.
Or send us an email at ruiningourchildhoodpod@gmail.com.
Support the show through our Ko-fi account, ko-fi.com/Ruining Our Childhood Podcast.
Later!